Alrighty, this is a quick little video showing you how to deal with all the EME Boss Setup information. So pretty much everything to do with the setup is in this little edit drop down. So we've got company information, so that will be down here in settings, and this gives you your company information. So any of your store, phone number, address, email, anything that changes over time, this is where you need to come to fix it. Then you've got your invoice options down here. This is all personal preferences, tags, as I said. These are possibly the things that are going to change the most. Every so often you're going to realise that you're going to constantly be telling people the same thing over and over and over again, so it's best that you put it in writing on their quotes, work in progress and invoices. That way that it's always there backed up in writing. If people turn around and say, oh, I didn't know, it's on here black and white for them. All you have to do is add some text, hit apply and OK, and it will automatically put it through on every quote, work in progress and invoice. All these other little tabs along here, you just need to make sure that they all say Australia or English. As long as they say Australia or English, you are all good. Cool. And then we've got the next one along here is email options. Fairly straightforward. It's just emailing from your system. You can either use your system or from your external email program, so Outlook or something like that. I would always generally recommend to use Outlook anyway. I would save all your quotes as a PDF and attach them via Outlook. I don't tend to trust or like systems that email directly from inside. I've lost too many emails and quotes using systems that do this. But if you are going to do it, I would always BCC yourself. And this is just all your little options to choose here. Again, if you make any changes, make sure you apply them and click OK. And then display options. Not many people change these options, but if you do want to change the color scheme, you can. Again, if you make any changes, apply. Cool. That is company information. So we've done all that. The next one that you're most probably going to want to change are your customer defaults. So again, you go to edit and then we head into customers, and it's fairly obvious we've got customer defaults. So you'd go into this little section, and then here we've got our default, so you can always default it to a local customer. You're generally always going to want to prompt for the customer group and origination, as well as sales rep. Shipping method is pretty much always going to be pickup. GST and 0 for tax type. Terms COD, deposit minimum 50%. And then you've got some other options down here. Your due date, is it automatically 10 days or do you want to push it out for 15 days? That's up to you. The scheduled date, normally we have it just scheduled to be completed 2 days before the due date, but you can again change that to 1 day, 5 days, 7 days, whatever you prefer. And the follow-up date, this is generally referring to quotes, so it prints out a report for you on everything that you're due to follow up on. So 3 days from the time the quote was done, you can print out a report. Everything that's due to be followed up will be on that report. Again, default state and country. So fairly straightforward for the customer defaults there. Customer areas. There we go. Again, so you go to customers, customer areas. So this is where we can add, delete, can't delete any of these ones because they're already in the system. But if you don't like international customer, you can just double click it, overtype it, and save it. But generally what you're going to want to do is add a new customer, chuck it in and save it. So that's how you amend your customer areas. Next is going to be the originations. This is one of the more important ones to look at. You definitely want to have all your origination methods in here. So if you're doing direct marketing, you definitely want that in. If you're doing mail outs, you definitely want mail outs in there. If you're in a chamber, if you're in BNI, if you're doing networking, you want all of those separate networking areas in here. You don't just want chamber. If you're in 3 different types of networking meetings, you want all 3 types of the networking meeting groups in here, so you can see which one's the most effective for you. This is really important when you want to go and do some marketing to specific industries and look at where your money's being spent in the future. If you're not taking this information in, it's really hard to analyze your business in the future. So a little bit of time spent at the beginning really pays off in the long run. And the next one is terms maintenance. Now, you should really never have to change this. 30 days, cash on delivery, 60 days, 90 days, or 120 days. I really hope nobody is letting any of this stuff happen. Everybody should be on COD or 30 days. But they are your businesses to run as you see fit. So if you want to give someone 90 days, that's your choice. Just be very careful. The next one that we're going to play with is tax maintenance. Again, this should only need to be done once, and that's when we initially set up your store. And either myself or Julian or whoever your operations advisor or marketing advisor is that does your setup should set you up with the correct tax rate. As we've got in here, GST 10%. So if for any reason GST rate changes over time, just come in here, and yes, we can't change it because it's got an existing rate against it. So if it does change, you need to change it. You need to add a new one, GST 11%. Cool. That's how you do it, but we don't want that. So whilst it's got nothing against it, I'm going to delete that line. Cool. So that's your tax maintenance. The next most commonly used feature is going to be users. So every time you get a new staff member or a staff member leaves, you want to update the users. So if you don't have somebody here anymore, you can hide them or delete them. It's very hard to delete anything in this system if they've already got a sale attached to their name. You won't be able to delete them. But if, say, Meryl left and you hired a new person to replace Meryl, all you would do is you'd select Meryl and you would change her name. Change the name, change the password, select what user group she is. Is she a manager, CAS, production, outside sales rep, and then save over the top of that. Instead of having to delete, recreate, just change the name. Works just as well. Or you can add a new person. It just means you can end up with a very long list of people if you keep adding new people. If you don't want to see people show up, you can click hide, or you can click on their name and put inactive and hide, and then these people will not show up when you go to log in. They'll still be here, but they won't be on the little drop down list when you go to log into your EME Boss. Okay, so that's users. Along with the users is the user group access. Very important. As I said, you've got to select what user group they are, whether they're a CAS, a manager, a production. Now all of these different groups have different access levels set up as a default. You as the franchisee or the owner can go in and change what you want them or what you think they should have access to. So all you have to do is tick or untick the box for that associated group. So sales rep, CAS, manager. I mean, your manager, if you have a manager, they should be able to see pretty much everything, because you want them being able to do everything in the business, realistically. But again, it's up to you. It's your store to run how you see fit. So if you don't want them looking at certain reports, by all means, disallow them access to it. Very simple to do. Just click the button and they won't be able to review those reports. And last but not least, with the setup area of Boss, is emails, which we did with the settings before email options. There we go. That is pretty much everything to do with the setup options for EME Boss. If you've got any questions, give me a call on the mobile 0433 753 855, or give the office a call and they can get in contact with me, or shoot me an email, nsharples@ufgcorp.com.au, and I'll be more than happy to give you a hand. Cool, thanks.